Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh, those New York Democrats are starting to get real nervous. They didn't think that they would actually have to try. They thought this election was already in the bag by virtue of being in New York State. There's just no way that a Republican can beat us in our own blue stronghold. Well, that notion is about to be challenged because, of course, Kathy Hochul is a complete and utter disaster. She wasn't even elected. She just took over after the last clown. Andrew Cuomo had to resign in disgrace due to the multiple stacking scandals. And it seems as though Democrats got a little bit lazy. They didn't really do anything. I mean, Kathy Hochul, or Kathy Hochul, whatever you want to call her, took over as governor with a lot of issues, voters demanding change in a lot of different domains. And she has decided that her strategy going into this election is to literally do nothing. I mean, name a single thing that Kathy Hochul has done. You can't. She hasn't taken any serious action to combat any issues. She hasn't fired any prosecutors, state attorneys. She hasn't gone after any of the woke policies. She's done nothing. All these issues continue to persist under her leadership. And now we're seeing a situation where a Republican might actually win the gubernatorial election against her. Lee Zeldin is surging in the polls over the last 2.5 weeks, to the extent that he's actually even leading in some of them. And it's very simply because he's tackling issues that voters care about. And boy, oh boy, are Democrats panicking. I mean, seriously panicking. And what do emotionally and especially emotionally unstable people do in stressful events? Well, they don't exactly think straight. We call it panic mode. Democrats are certainly hitting panic mode. And this Democrat assemblyman, Peter J. Abate Jr., just got caught in a viral clip showing just how desperate these left-wing New York Democrats are getting. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. Let's start off with this clip and then let's look into some of the polls, some of the issues, what some voters are saying. Fox News just did a couple focus groups that'll give us some great insight. Let me update you guys on what's going on in New York, as it's possibly on the verge of flipping, at least for the governor's seat. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so you know the news, I gave you the context. Republican gubernatorial candidate Lee Zeldin is surging, and Democrats are panicking.
What are you doing?
Taking down illegal signs.
Why are they illegal?
You're not allowed to post signs on public property. They take it.
Okay, but what if these were different signs? I never see you come and
Every
clean
sign.
out the neighborhood.
I've always done it.
I've never seen you do this. Okay, but don't you think it could be an issue that you're also taking down a governor who's running for
He
office?
shouldn't do it. He's breaking the law. He
He's
shouldn't
breaking
even-
the law.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can quote me in that saying, I think it would be a disgrace for someone running for governor who's breaking the law before he even takes office.
It's not
You know
just
what
about
it's-
politics, it's what's written on those signs and what that man stands for.
In Borough Park, it's a disgrace how many signs are up over there. Have you ever gone through Borough Park?
If this is a legit
This
crime.
leads to bigger crime. That's the problem we have. People are not enforcing the law.
But you, as a sitting politician, you're an assemblyman, correct?
Yes, and I-
You
I've
should not be
spoken-
taking down other running politician
I should take down any
signs.
sign.
So you don't think it's immorally wrong for you to be
Not
taking
at
down
all.
Z. Zeldin signs?
No. I was the one that led the fight to take those off too.
This is a legitimate assemblyman. Here's his Twitter bio: lifelong Brooklynite, proudly representing the people of Diker Heights, Bensonhurst, and Sunset Park in the New York State Assembly. This is a Democrat public servant, and here he is in New York State, I'm assuming in his district, walking around taking Lee Zeldin campaign signs, and we can only assume throwing them in the trash. And then he goes on and on trying to justify his actions. Yes, we know, Democrats. Democracy is on the ballot, literally. We must stop these criminals. Everything's justified when it comes to stopping Republicans, according to these absolutely wacko, out of their mind Democrats. Lee Zeldin must be stopped. He's literally Hitler, is essentially what I got from that little discussion that they had. But what it really shows us is that Democrats are taking this seriously. Democrats don't act like this unless their power is being challenged, unless they're actually on the verge of losing, or it gets too close for comfort for them. That's when they start to implement interesting tactics. Let's just leave it at that. And this assemblyman, by the way, isn't the only one who's been doing this. There's these two clips as well of individuals who seem to be dressed up either in police uniforms or security uniforms. Can't exactly tell with the grainy cell phone footage, but just take a look.
On Main Street. Wow, your city is corrupt. Wow, your city is corrupt.
Basically, this city is sending out people to take down Zeldin for governor signs. I don't know which agency this is.
And so clearly there's a Democrat effort to rid cities of Lee Zeldin signs, to try to delete his brand, so to speak. Well, Democrats, you can do what you want. At the end of the day, signs are just signs. Regardless of taking down the signs or not, Lee Zeldin's message is traveling. New York has a lot of issues, and Lee Zeldin has tackled pretty much every single one of them, and his message is making it to the voters. From the Daily Wire, another poll shows Lee Zeldin leading Hochul gains support from group that votes overwhelmingly Democratic. Republican Lee Zeldin has taken the lead against incumbent Democrat Kathy Hochul in the New York's governor race. The poll of 1,200 respondents, conducted by the Trafalgar Group from October 27th to the 31st, showed that Zeldin holds a lead of just under 1 point against Hochul in a race that has become a nationwide spectacle, with the top figures in both parties rallying with the two hopefuls as the race becomes a toss-up. The poll also comes after Zeldin picked up support from two key constituencies in New York City. The poll follows recent events in New York City that could indicate Zeldin is making inroads with two communities that heavily favor Democrats. On Friday, Zeldin attended an event hosted by the Bronx Bangladeshi community in Parkchester, News 12 reported. According to the data from Pew Research, the U.S. is home to around 208,000 Bangladeshi Americans. New York City is home to some 93,000, far and away the largest population of Bangladeshis in the country. But Zeldin's attendance at that event is especially notable because Bangladeshi Americans identify and vote overwhelmingly with Democrats. According to one exit poll from the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund, 80% of Bangladeshis are registered Democrats and 91% voted for Joe Biden in 2020. Then on Sunday, Zeldin received the endorsement of three prominent, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce this, Rabbanim or Rabbanim in New York City. In an announcement, Rabbis Elia Ber Watchfogel, Raphael Shore, and Chaim Floor urged their respective communities to support Zeldin, as well as New York congressional candidate Mike Lawler, who is running against incumbent Democrat Sean Patrick Maloney, who also chairs the Democrats' congressional campaign arm. And so what we are clearly seeing here is a revolt, a referendum on Democrat leadership in New York. Is it going to be enough to close the gap and turn the state red? Maybe. It's looking like there's a chance, but probably not. But what is undeniable is that Republicans are making serious gains here. The last couple of years have been a wake-up call for New Yorkers. The ending of cash bail has been an utter disaster, allowing mentally ill, repeat felon offenders back onto the streets over and over again like a revolving door in the courthouse and right back on the street, has led to an unprecedented rise in indiscriminate attacks. I mean, of course, crime went up, but the percentages are relatively minor in total. But what's the most shocking thing happening in New York is just the indiscriminate violence. And of course, the constant string of hate crimes targeting Asian Americans and Jewish Americans specifically. The rise in those types of crimes have been unprecedented, and it's stuff that's being reported on the news constantly. It's stuff that people are directly seeing, and it is clearly shocking. It's been happening for a while now. I mean, it's been really bad for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. And Democrats have not rose to the occasion. Over and over again, voters keep saying the same thing in New York City. The focus groups on Fox News are telling you all that you need to hear.
How many of you think that Kathy Hochul is not doing enough on crime? Not doing anything. So, Donna, what do you think when you hear them say that, like, for example, the governor say, well, it's not as bad as they're saying on TV?
It's worse, probably. She's hiding a lot, I guess, to make it seem nice and stuff, but it's bad. The subways are horrible. The defund the police is horrible. We need to bring back all good things in Staten Island and New York.
Joanne is retired. Talk to me about how this economy is affecting retirees like you.
There's not enough to pay your bills. Everything is going up. What are we supposed to do? We need a change. Things are terrible right now.
The voters have been looking for leadership on these issues, and Kathy Hochul has been completely absent. That is why Republicans are surging. Of course, inflation has something to do with it. The economy has something to do with it. But at the end of the day, the number one driving issue, what is driving voters to Republicans in New York specifically, is the issue of crime, and the fact that Democrats are not only weak on crime, but they seem to be almost endorsing it and just allowing it to happen, and refuse to even acknowledge that there is a massive crime spike, hate crime spike, in the city. city. Kathy Hochul is pulling a Katie Hobbs on this one, friends. She's not showing up, she's ignoring key issues, she's playing the Katie Hobbs strategy where she just sits back and kind of hopes for the best, crosses her fingers and just hopes that Democrats are going to show up and vote for her, and she's just going to win a by virtue election win in New York. But increasingly, it's looking like Lee Zeldin is about to take her down. It sounds crazy, but it might actually happen. New York State might have a Republican governor post-November. It's not 100% set in stone, it'd be a freak victory, but Democrats have dropped the ball to the extent that it's a likely possibility. And Democrats, of course, once again, have no one to blame but themselves. They've brought it upon themselves with all of their terrible policies. They shut people's businesses down, they set children back 2 years. Oh, excuse me, only public school children in lower income communities. They fired people from their jobs over private medical decisions. They've ended cash bail and caused a massive spike in crime, defunded the police. I mean, the list goes on and on. Voters are saying, we don't like these policies, change, do something. And the response from Democrats has been crickets. We don't care. We're going to keep doing what Democrats do, whether you like it or not, because this is New York, and if you don't like it, well then, tough luck. Not exactly a winning message. The response has been twofold. Either people are moving to Florida, or people are going to be voting Republican. Great job, Democrats.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
That's what I got for you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it. I got one more video to record for the day, so I'm going to get to that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.